Good afternoon, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with you. If it's now time to start, I will. Well, thank you. My name is Kevin Braithwaite. I'm the Global Programs Director of the Cleantech Open, and my apologies for not being with you in person, but I very much appreciate the opportunity to speak to you this evening. So the Cleantech Open was really started to find, fund and foster entrepreneurs with big ideas that address today's most urgent energy, environmental and economic challenges. And it's through this that the Global Ideas Competition began in 2009 with the support of Global Entrepreneurship Week and the Kaufman Foundation. And really since then, since 2009, 39 different countries have participated in Cleantech Open Global Ideas. And we're really focused on... I'm sorry, it seems that you can't see the presentation. Great. Well, hopefully you can see the screen now. But what I was basically referring to is that we're focused here on real businesses that tackle real problems and can generate real money. It's not a theoretical exercise. One of the things I wanted to touch on is really what's new, what's really happened since 2009 when we initially launched this competition to now, to 2013. What are some of the changes that we've seen? What are some of the trends? And obviously I would be amiss if I didn't comment on a major change, which is the funding landscape in the cleantech sector. In this particular graph, which is from PwC Money Tree, it's showing how does the level of cleantech funding rise and fall in relation to the total venture capital. And what you can see is here, it's the specific funding for cleantech venture capital has significantly reduced in recent years. And if we look particularly at the early stage cleantech VC funding, we're seeing a substantial drop-off. If we look back to the Q4 2012 to Q4 at the end of 2013, we're seeing a 69% decrease. So what does this mean in terms of the entrepreneurs that we're seeing in the US? Is particularly more, I would say, more innovation around sources of funding, looking perhaps at angels, looking perhaps more at strategic and corporate investors. But we're seeing, most interestingly, more interest and more uptake from international investors from around the world. I just want to check that you are able to see this presentation. I'm getting a message that you may not be able to see it. But anyway, I'll continue unless I'm told otherwise. And there's this particular graph. We're looking at the investment trends in the US. And again, we can see that though there's been a little bit of an uptake towards the end of 2013, it's still substantially lower than the peak. And if we contrast this with the overall investment in clean energy in other parts of the world, particularly, for example, Asia, we're seeing a dramatic difference. And many of the entrepreneurs that we're seeing, both in the US and around the world, Asia is becoming of increasing in importance to their focus. And if we look by by region, one of the key things we can see is that even though the overall investment is down 11% in 2013 compared to 2012, we're seeing the particular part of that relates to investment from Asia Pacific has increased significantly, and the majority of that will be China. So in this sort of new paradigm of clean tech funding, what does this mean in terms of alternative funding strategies? And this particular slide is really highlighting one new trend that we're seeing, and I believe you're also seeing a great deal in Israel, is the notion of crowdfunding. Here are some of the examples of some of Cleantech Open alumni companies that have used crowdfunding in order to basically raise funding, particularly for when they have a consumer-focused clean tech product. On the left here we have Acton from LA that have basically a personal mobility solution. It's electric skates, and they raised over $550,000 on Kickstarter. In the middle we have FinSix, which have developed the world's smallest laptop adapter, and they've raised $456,000 from Kickstarter. And on the other side of the slide, we have a company called Illumi, which were in the 2012 Cleantech Open Accelerator, and they've raised funding for their intelligent LED lighting, also from Kickstarter. And what we're seeing overall is a growing realization there's a global demand for clean tech, and there's very exciting global opportunities, even if in some parts of the world VC funding may be less than it was perhaps at the peak. The potential opportunity both in the developed and also in the developing world, we're finding from many entrepreneurs in the US and around the world that they're very aware of the potential for energy empowerment, both as a social mission, but also as a very valid, a very profitable business model as well. And this is just a comment from Ban Ki-moon that was really referring to the fact that this is a global opportunity when you bring the billion people worldwide that don't have access to electricity online. I want to just sort of take a minute or two just to share with you some examples of some innovative approaches and technologies we're seeing in some of the 8 clean technology categories that we have. For example, in energy generation, a company called Eco Squared in South Africa, they've been focusing on taking a very underutilized waste stream resource, in this case tires, of which there are over 10 million a year in South Africa, and converting that into electricity. If we look also to the US, to New York, we have a company there, a Cleantech Open alumnus called Recanati, that's tackling the excess water pressure in water mains and is harvesting that pressure to create electricity, anywhere from 30 to 350 kilowatts per system. And I want to really just highlight this because these are very innovative ways of generating energy, thinking outside the box and looking at where there are underutilized assets. If we move now on to transportation, one of the things that we're increasingly seeing is the importance of pivoting. And one example we have here is a Cleantech Open alumnus, which is Mission Motors that went through our program, our accelerator in 2007, originally focused on creating the world's fastest electric motorbike. And what they ultimately found was that their biggest market was in taking their core technology, their powertrain technology, their powertrain electrification, and applying that to many other different sectors. So this could be heavy equipment, it could be earth movers, it could be trucks, it could be cars, etc. And that's really where they found a great deal of opportunity from this pivot. But since then, the market for high-performance electric motorbikes has come full circle, and they've now started to release electric motorbikes through a sister company as well. If we look to agriculture, water and waste, we're seeing a growing focus on the ability of the companies to scale, to think globally and to move quickly. Biofiltro is one of our winners. It was actually the Global Ideas winner in 2011 from Chile. They have an innovative type of processing for liquid industrial waste. And what they've done is they've taken their solution and they've quickly moved it to about 7 different countries, 100 different installations, all the time stressing both the sustainable aspect of the solution, but also very much underpinning it by the cost saving, the fact that they save 80% of the energy costs compared to other systems. And then in 2013, the Global Ideas competition was won by ECF Farm Systems from Germany, which is a new type of urban farming solution. It was literally a farm in a container box, as it were, that could produce 24 tons of fish and 35 tons of vegetable per year. And that was really an innovative and a new type of integration of these technologies in a new type of area. But even though we've seen these changes in the market, we've seen these changes in these technology categories, one thing that I would say has been consistent and hasn't changed is the continual, I think, flow of great cleantech ideas, great cleantech companies from Israel. Starting in 2009, in the Cleantech Open Global Ideas competition, we had Capernaum Vista olive farms that were basically taking toxic olive waste and turning it into soap. In 2010, we had Solaris Synergy that were focused on floating concentrated PV. In 2011, we saw Hygen, which were focused on home refueling for natural gas vehicles. And then in 2012, we had Loomis that were focused or are focused on really bringing power, access to electricity to a huge new part of the world through their power station in the box and the ability to purchase energy on mobile phones. And I'm very pleased that you'll be hearing from, I believe, Loomis later in the proceedings tonight. And then, of course, last year in 2013, we had Greenspence with their propellant-free dispensing technology that eliminates gas from aerosols. And I believe you have already heard from Greenspence this evening. And I really wanted to stress that this has been, I think, very important to us, to the Cleantech Open, that we've seen this continual, I think, stream of great, strong ideas. The fact that Greenspence came second last year, perhaps 2014 will be the year when Israel wins the Global Ideas competition. I'm very much looking forward to meeting the winners that you're selecting tonight in Silicon Valley. The actual global forum is taking place in San Francisco on the 12th and the 13th of November. And we're very much hoping, or very much focused on connecting the winning team from Israel with potential customers and partners and investors and collaborators from the Silicon Valley and around the world. So as we continually go on this journey, this search for breakthrough cleantech ideas, which is really more important now than ever, as the opportunity and the need and the current climate and environmental crisis is only increasing, we need breakthrough cleantech ideas. And I very much believe more than ever that the innovation, the ingenuity that we're seeing in Israel can change not just the region, but the whole world. So I thank you very much, and I would also particularly like to thank our partners, GW Israel and the MIT Enterprise Forum. Thank you very much.
אז אנחנו מפה גם מודים לו, ואנחנו ננסה את המצגת שהחמצנו לעלות לאתר של התחרות כדי שבאמת תוכלו לעבור ולראות את הדברים שהוא דיבר עליהם.